Hi, I'm Geri Ford and welcome to my studio. And what are we doing? Well, it's September and it's National Sewing Month. So for this month, I've decided to join the Project Dress a Girl program that's going on throughout the country. It's being run by Mari from Mari Sews, and she's in Gaithersburg. She's behind all this. I'll show you her video in just a few minutes. But the goal is to make 7,000 dresses for little girls in need. Every little girl needs a new dress. This particular pattern is a free download from Alisa at Thoughtful Creativity, and it's a nice, easy beginner project. It's easy to sew. You can use your scraps. I had a little bit of lace and a little bit of ribbon, and I think it turned out really cute. So I will leave the link to Thoughtful Creativity's pattern below. There's also lots of other free patterns that people are using to make Project Dress a Girl. There's lots of free patterns out there that you can use for this. Watch this video from Mari and get involved.
I'm Mari from Mari Sews, and I'm the founder of Project Dress a Girl, the month-long event where we all sew dresses for girls living in extreme poverty. All of the dresses that we're making need to be able to slip over a little girl's head without any kind of fasteners, all except fabric ties and elastic. You can use those too. Now you can sew any size, up to a size 12, but please make sure that your fabrics are all natural fabrics. They can be a blend, so if you've got a blend that is mostly natural, that's okay. But do make sure that your fabrics are not sheer. And if you by chance happen to have a sheer fabric, go ahead and line that. And while we're talking about fabrics, let's avoid any of those cartoon character themes like Disney characters and the like. No words on your fabric, because we don't know where these dresses are gonna go and what language they speak. No country specifics like flags or holiday themes. And please, no pillowcases. Don't waste your precious sewing time making a dress out of a pillowcase that won't get donated. No one wants that to happen. Do include at least one pocket on your dress. The more the merrier. They're the perfect place to place your Project Dress a Girl label or your Dress a Girl Around the World label. My favorite place is to put it right on the little shoulder right there. You can get these labels right here, the Project Dress a Girl labels, over on my website. The sales from these labels do help with the event cost. Anything that is left over ends up getting donated to Dress a Girl Around the World. But of course, you can also use this label that you can get from Dress a Girl Around the World. And this year, I'm really hoping that we can hit that 7,000 mark so that way we can help 7,000 little girls. We keep track of all of the dresses that are getting donated, which means that you, my friend, you need to let me know how many dresses you've made for a donation. And you can do that one of two ways. You can either post your picture on Instagram using the hashtag Project Dress a Girl 2024 and tag me at Mari Sews for Curves. If you're not on Instagram, no worries. Just send me an email to projectdressagirl@gmail.com and my team will be happy to record your final numbers. Now, if you're wondering, well, Mari, how do I actually collect these dresses? I've got you covered. You can either find a local ambassador who has opted in to receiving dresses from this event. And if you don't have a nearby ambassador, feel free to ship me your dress. If you have any questions or want any details, go and check out the kickoff video over at Mari Sews. You can also send an email to me at projectdressagirl@gmail.com. And by the way, in case you haven't done it yet, make sure that you subscribe to this video right down there. Check out those little buttons down there. Subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on all of your notifications because you don't want to miss any of the amazing videos that this amazing YouTube creator is making for you. I mean, you really don't want to miss another dress, do you? So go and hit that subscribe button. Bye.
So go ahead and join me now as I make this cute little dress for Project Dress a Girl. The pattern that I used is a free download from Alisa at Thoughtful Creativity, and I'll put the link below in the comment section on where you can download this pattern. It was very easy to sew and only took about, maybe 3/4 of a yard of maybe 2 different types of fabrics. I didn't exactly measure it because I did this from scrap fabric. So it doesn't need that much. It doesn't need any interfacing or buttons or snaps or anything else. So let's get started here. First thing you want to do is go ahead and print out your pattern pieces. There's 4 pages. Also, be sure and check the 1-inch block that's printed to make sure your printer is printing correctly. On page 1, there's a 1-inch block, so you need to measure that to make sure that it is 1 inch by 1 inch. If not, you'll need to check your printer. You want to print it on actual size, not fit to page. On pages 2, 3, and 4, you're going to want to cut on the line using paper scissors. It's a light gray line, easy to follow. You're going to want to paste 3 and 4 together, matching up the lines. Either glue or tape, and you've got at least 2 lines to match up on here and here. I'm just going to put a little tape now, tape it better later. This is best done on a cutting table. I'm not working on my cutting table because it's hard to film there. Now on the bottom of page 4, the side of page 4 is this little piece, so you want to cut that off too. And cut this side, and I'm going to match it up along the edge. So now you've got these 2 pattern pieces so far, and so the next thing you want to do is cut all the way around your pattern piece. I'll do that off camera. Now I did print an extra copy because you're using the same piece for the front and the back, but the back has got a slight different neckline on it. So I actually cut another piece out so that I have 2 of them. Now to this piece, I know I need to add seam allowances to parts of it and not to others. So along the top shoulder here, I'm going to just make a mark to add seam allowance of 3/8. So I know I'm going to add it there, and I'm going to add 3/8 of it down here. And I'm probably going to take where I need to add and underline this in a bright color so I don't forget to do it. Okay, I don't want to forget to do that. Here's your skirt part here. I'm going to cut it down the center here. On these pieces, I want to add, here's the fold. These are going to be cut. I'm going to put on here, since I've done this one, this is going to be cut 1. I have 2 pieces. Okay, that is actually my back. So that's confusing, so I'm just going to cross out that because this is the back. This one here, I want to cut 1. Right? For the center part of the skirt, I'm going to need to cut 2. I'm just going to mark this center skirt. And this is add here. Seam allowance 3/8 inch. On this side I need to add seam allowance 3/8 inch. And for the hem, you could do any hem you like. The author says to add 1/2 inch. I think this is an extra long skirt. I don't like it this long. So what I'm going to do is not add any of it. But she says to add, and I'll write on here in case I decide to do it, 1/2 inch hem. Okay, and I'm going to, I need to cut 2 of these. Mark where I need to add, or what you can do is just not cut the outside and just pencil in your seam allowance, and you know, that way you don't have to guess every time you cut it. Okay, now on this is the side panel. This is also consisting of a pocket, but this part you're going to add seam allowance on the sides. 3/8 sides. Okay, and at the top here, right here, and if this is the hem part, so this would be hem, add 1/2 inch. But I'm not going to. Okay, the fold, you don't have any, so I'm going to take this and mark it now. And then here's one here and here. Okay, so I don't, just make it in bright color so I don't miss it. What I did is I took my extra piece and I cut out the pocket, because we're going to leave this piece whole, and this part is the pocket. So, oh, I didn't mark, this is side panels, cut 2. Okay, and this is the pocket, cut 2. And then add seam allowance 3/8 just to the sides. And this is on the fold right here, okay? Okay, so now we're ready to cut out our fabric. So I went ahead and I washed and dried my fabric, and I pressed it with a little bit of spray starch or fabric sizing just to give it a little bit body while I'm working on it. Okay, I have already cut out my pieces. I'm going to use these 2 fabrics. I cut out the skirt, the front and side panels of the skirt. I'm going to use this green for the pockets, green for the bodice. I've also cut out several yards of 1 1/4 inch bias strips for the collars and the sleeves and all the trim work. I even found some cute lace that might look nice on there, along with some yellow ribbon. So the first thing we're going to do is work on the bodice. I'm going to work on the front for now. So that you could see it, I traced the lines, which are the sewing lines. You don't have to do that as long as you have consistent seams. So here is my front piece, and I just used a friction marker on the back, and you don't have to do that. Okay, here's the front. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this. I think this would look cute here if I take a couple rows of this here on either side with this yellow piece of ribbon in the middle. I think that'll look kind of cute. You know how I'm going to attach this trim first. So I need 2 pieces of lace. I'm going to just lightly take my washable school glue, just a little bit, and put this about 1/4 inch away. And I need this side as well. This is just to baste it down. There. I'm just going to heat set that down. Take my ribbon. Right down the middle. You could measure this, but I didn't. And just glue baste it down. Now I'm going to just go to my machine and top stitch the edges here and here, here and here. I'm just going to sew this on with like a 2mm straight stitch. Just want to edge stitch right here. I've got my back piece, and remember it's the same as the front, with the exception is that it's, instead of fold, that is cut right there. And here is the back. So I'm going to sew my shoulder seams. The instructions say to press the shoulder seams to the back. I prefer to press the seams open, so I'm going to serge the shoulder seam, and I'm just going to use a 3-thread serge. The reason I'm not going to serge and sew the seam at the same time is because that's going to leave some bulk. With garments, I think they're more comfortable if you sew them with the seams open, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I've set up my serger, and I've set up the machine for a 3-thread overlock, and all I'm going to do is just finish the edges of the seams. I'm not going to do the neckline, just the shoulders on this piece. I'm not going to cut any off. I'm just going to simply serge it. We'll have another video that will show how to operate this machine and what all the stitches are used for. And right now I'm not going to be cutting any off. If I weren't putting bias binding along the neck edge and the sleeves, I would most likely sew this together with the serger so that it does the sewing as well as the overcast in the same operation. But I'm choosing not to, simply because I don't want the bulk that's in the binding, especially filling it up under the underarms. It's kind of uncomfortable. So I'm going to sew, this is 3/8 of an inch. See, I mark these, and you didn't have to, and nor do you have to use pins. This is such a small seam allowance that you don't have to really worry about that. I just want to make them even, and just simply sew with a sewing machine. I'm sewing just to the left of the lines that I made. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other. This is a slightly curved seam. So therefore, I'm going to want to press it open on a pressing ham. Okay, first of all, press your seam flat. Then open it. Be careful not to stretch the neckline. You want to be careful. And see, this has got a slight curve, so this makes it nice to open this and get a very nice flat seam. Because I'm using cotton, it's not necessary to use steam. And see, it makes a beautiful seam on the front. If you like, you can also press from the front. But it's not necessary. This is also the time, if you didn't want to put lace, you could just do an applique here or an embroidery, or put it on bows or whatever. Anything you can do on the front to dress it up a little bit. The first thing I'm going to sew is the binding that goes around the neckline. You have a little bit of mismatching, just even it up. Let's go ahead and do the sleeves first. I need some smaller pieces for that. This I could do with my serger, but to be honest with you, by the time I set it up, it could have been done already. Cut it straight. Putting the right side of the binding towards the wrong side of the sleeve opening. Okay, so I'm just going to sew this with a 1/4 inch seam. Do not stretch anything, just lay it there and let it go. You do not need to use pins. I'll back stitch there. Okay, I've sewn my bias binding onto the back of the front of the sleeve on the bodice. Take my iron and finger press this to one side. Just give it a crease. Okay, turn it over to the front side, and then I'm going to start to press this, but I don't know if you can see this. Don't put it right up against the seam. Put it about 1/16 of an inch away. You want some room to fold. And I'm just going to fold this. You could do this as you go along. I like to press the whole thing first, because that sets the seam at the same time. And fold this over to the right side. Give it a press. If it doesn't want to stay, take your trusty glue stick. Elmer's washable glue stick is a good one to use. It's only made up of starch. Give it a couple of dabs. Heat set it down, and now it's glue basted. Okay, and I'm going to edge stitch this right here along this edge. And this is a top stitch. See here, I could have inserted rickrack or anything else in here. I'm just going to leave it plain for now. Okay. And see, it makes a nice, clean finish. I'm going to repeat for the other side. We're going to apply the bias binding to the neckline as well. So I'm going to start wrong side facing me, right side of the binding going down. And we're going to start sewing. I don't need to use pins, but if you feel more comfortable with them, go ahead. Again, 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going, now you've got to be very careful here not to stretch the length. If you feel like you're prone to stretch the neckline, then go ahead and stay stitch it 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, so I'm going straight here. Okay, and then I want to curve to here, and then you're going to take this and you're going to sort of give it a little tug on the outside and put on the right and push to the left. And you just take your time to go around this very tight curve. There we go. Take your time and do not stretch it. This is going to pull up a little bit, that's fine. This could also be done on the serger with the binding attachment. However, I'm not very good at using that attachment, and today I'm also very short on patience, so I'm just going to do it this way. Say hello, Lily. This is my helper. Her name is Lily. Okay, and again, once again, we turn it over, finger press it down, and then come in half, and then fold that over to the line and give it a press. Just put a little bit of this glue here as I go around and press this flat. No steam. Actually, I find for this application, the glue stick is a little bit too tacky. So I'm using my Elmer's washable school glue, the liquid kind. I put it into this old Roxanne's glue applicator. Just put a little tiny bead here. And then it's going to heat set just as well, if not better, than the other one. Okay, I'll be back when I finish basting this. Okay, you want to stop gluing right about the center of the curve, because next we're going to actually put this together. Put these wrong sides together. This is the two backs. Put the two backs wrong sides together. I'm going to pin to right here. Do it on the inside. Going to open up. I glued that. If you glued it, just pop the seam open. It's fine. See where that folds? I want to match that up right there. Open this up. You can pin it if you like. I'm going to because it's fighting me. And I want to sew right at the edge of the fabric. See, match that up. I'll put a pin in here. Do I have it matched up? Yes, I do. Okay, I just pin these just to keep that fold out of my face. Okay. And I'm going to sew right on the fold. And of course, back stitch. So here's my seam together right here. I think you saw that where I put the seams up and then I sewed up along this edge to about 1 inch below the curve. This makes an interesting little back detail. Okay, and then when you're done, you're going to finger press that and then stitch all around the edge, top stitching it down, go all the way around. And I will be back. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'm having difficulty seeing this. I've got the wrong glasses on, so I've got to go real close to the needle to see it. I'll be back. Okay, that makes a really nice little back detail. So I'll give that a little press. I'll turn it inside out. Just below where it meets together, go ahead and give it a bar tack across both sides of the seams. Just go back and forth a few times. Okay, and I'm going to give it another one down here because I don't want that to pull loose either. Don't have to do that, but I think that's a good idea. We're ready to put the sleeve parts together, and this is very simple to do. You're going to butt them up under the machine, just where they meet. Just have them kiss each other, just the two edges, and do it at the edge. And I'm going to go up again, less than a quarter, a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch, and repeat. And repeat on the other side. That turned out really cute. I love the back detail. Okay, here are my pocket pieces. And we're going to put binding at the top and the bottom. So again, start on the wrong side, put the right side of the binding along this edge and sew 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to press these down, but I'm not going to glue them just yet because I want to insert some lace. Putting the right side out. I want it to, the little eyelets to just peek out. Need to set it down. That gets most of it. Okay, I'm going to top stitch it down here, and then I'm going to stitch it right along that edge too. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to place this. I think I had made a little mark where these go, but wherever you put one, make sure you put the other so this will stay symmetrical. And I'm going to pin these in place. Take another piece of our bias binding, and I'm going to start sewing it right here, 1/4 of an inch in. Take these out, don't need those now. Let's see, do I want lace here again? Oh, why not? And then top stitch. You can top stitch both sides of this if you like. That'll double reinforce the seam and give a little detail to it. So I'm going to stitch on either side of that line just to give it a tiny bit more subtle detail. Okay. And next I'm going to take this over to the serger, and I'm going to overcast these edges down. Okay, now I'm ready to put my sides and the front and the back together. So I'm just going to simply sew these together, 3/8 of an inch all around the edges, or you can pin it if you like. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm going to just sew these together. I'm using my 1/4 inch foot, but it's 1/4 inch from this indent. It's 3/8 of an inch if I use the edge of the foot. So I'm going to just go ahead and sew and back tack. Okay, I'll finish sewing this together off camera. I've got my skirt inside out, and then I put the bodice on top of it. I'm going to match up the center front and the center back and pin it. Little notch for the center back. Okay, now where the sides go, you see there's kind of like a little dip, little V in the bottom of the side panel. You're going to match that up with the little sleeve section and pin there. And this should go together fairly smoothly. I'm not having one side much bigger than the other. It's actually fitting rather nicely. Okay. One more pin. Okay, and you can put more pins if you like. I don't think you need to. And then we're going to sew along the bodice and skirt with a 3/8 inch hem. And I like to start on the sides. Then overstitch it and back tack. Okay, now I'm going to go to the serger and I'm going to seal the edges here. I finished serging around the bodice and the skirt, and I've pressed it down, so now I'm going to go on to the inside. And I'm going to start on one of the sides. The bodice is going this way, the skirt is going down. I'm going to go about less than 1/4 of an inch below the seam line right here, the waistline, and top stitch the skirt into place. So here's the waistline. Looks nice and neat and finished. Okay, and then finally I have gone to my ironing board and I folded a double 1/4-inch hem, and I'm just going to stitch it down, and then this is done. Actually, it's more like a 3/8 inch hem. Okay, here's the dress all finished. It turned out really darling. I like the way the front looks, and I really like the detail on the back neckline. This Project Dress a Girl dress is absolutely adorable, and it really didn't take that long to make. Took some scraps, some leftover fabric from a quilt. Turned out really cute. So I hope you'll join me. In the comments below, I have included the link to Thoughtful Creativity so that you can download your own pattern for this. I've also downloaded Mari Sews' website so that you can contact her. I hope you'll join me in this year's Project Dress a Girl. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I'll answer the best I can. Until next week, bye.